Your eyes do not deceive you. It is Zach Milne Talks Live. What's going on, everybody? It's a lighter version of the show for sure. I just got back from work. I've been listening to a bunch of podcasts breaking down this Avengers Doomsday Cast announcement that rolled out this not even just this morning, this whole day. So did a quick check on everything, made sure it was running smoothly, so it should be okay. And it just so happened that this landed on a Wednesday. How ironic is it? Just felt like destiny. It felt like fate. I was like, this is huge news. I'm excited about this news. It's Wednesday. You know what? Let's throw it back. Let's do a Zach Milne Talks Live. So that's what we're here to do today. And it's so great to be back with you guys. The show is only going to go for about an hour because I do have obligations to be at. So I can't do how we used to do 2.5, 3 hours long shows. But yeah, I'm excited to be here with you guys. It's an honor and a privilege, and it's been a minute, so this is really exciting for me. What's going on, Collective Movie Man? How you doing, buddy? I'm doing well myself, dude. Thanks for being here. Thanks for asking. And yeah, so this morning I'm at work. I get to work at about 7 o'clock, and I'm looking on my YouTube feed when I'm on a little break, and I see that Marvel has this live stream going, and I click on this live stream, and 5 minutes go by, and 6 minutes go by, and then 10 minutes go by, and we're sitting on this chair. It's a chair that says Chris Hemsworth. Now that's pretty exciting, Marvel. Chris Hemsworth, director chair, but it took like 12 minutes for the next chair to come up, and I was like, I can't miss what's about to happen, but I also can't sit here till next week. So put on a podcast, listen to some people talk about it. Sure enough, they're announcing the Avengers Doomsday Cast. And we got some pretty cool people in there, some surprising people as well. So let's just waste no time. Let's get into this this list here. Here's what they had to say. Avengers Doomsday Cast so far. So these are the names that were announced officially that we are going to see in Doomsday. We got Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Once again, mentioned that was the first chair that they showed. Vanessa Kirby's going to be in there. No surprise there. We know that the Fantastic Four players are going to be in there. So Anthony Mackie's back as Captain America. Sebastian Stan's back as Winter Soldier. Letitia Wright's back as Shuri Black Panther. Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. Wyatt Russell is John Walker. I'm going to get his name wrong. Tanak Hirata Maji, Namor. Sorry if I got that wrong. Ebon Moss, Barek. So the list is going on at this point, and I'm sitting there kind of going, all right, this is kind of what to be expected. These are the usual suspects. These are the people that have been in the previous movies. I kind of suspected they'd be here. Then they throw a curveball. I don't think this is the first curveball they threw, but I believe the first curveball for me that they threw was Patrick Stewart. I believe Patrick Stewart came first, so I don't think this list that I have here is the order that they came out on. But then they dropped that Patrick Stewart's coming in there. And it's like, okay, that's surprising. He was in Multiverse of Madness. I guess that makes sense if you're pulling the multiverse together in this movie. I guess it makes sense that characters that we saw in the multiverse saga up until this point are going to be in this movie. And then they announced Kelsey Grammer. I don't know where he is on this list, but that was something too where it was like, oh, another X-Men, but he was at the end of the Marvel, so that makes sense. Then it got a little bit crazy. They then announced Ian McKellen coming back as Magneto. Alan Cumming is coming. Alan Cumming's coming back as Nightcrawler. James Marsden is coming back as Cyclops. Simu Liu is in Shang-Chi. Florence Pugh is coming back as Elena. Lewis Pullman, who we're about to see in the Thunderbolts, coming back as Sentry. Danny Ramirez as the new Falcon. I didn't impress me all that much in Brave New World, to be honest. Joseph Quinn, of course, Human Torch. David Harbour, Red Guardian. Winston Duke, M'Baku. Hannah Joan Kamen as Ghost. That one surprised me too when she popped up. It was also kind of like, okay, so I guess she doesn't die in Thunderbolts. A little bit of a spoiler there, but I've always enjoyed the Ghost character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think she has a pretty tragic and intriguing backstory for me. And they haven't utilized her since Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm super excited to see her come back in Thunderbolts, but that was when I was very excited and surprised to see on the list. Another kind of surprising, but also at the same time not too surprising, Tom Hiddleston's coming back as Loki. I thought they closed off the character arc very well at the end of Loki season 2, so I don't need to see Tom Hiddleston back, but I'm excited to see Tom Hiddleston back. Talk about Patrick Stewart. Rebecca Romijn, who was the original Mystique. That was another interesting one. And then probably my biggest jaw drop was Channing Tatum is coming back as Gambit. So they announced, what is that, like 20 names there today over the course of 5.5 hours. Like Aaron Austin, what's going on, Aaron Austin? He's saying in here too. I was watching it too. Stopped after Neymar. Any good picks? Well, yeah, there's the rest of your picks there. So what surprised me the most about this cast list is, well, there's two things. First of all, there's no Tom Holland Spider-Man in here, which I thought was a given. There's no Iman Vellani as Ms. Marvel in here. There's no Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. There's no Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. Like, there are people that you just expect to be in an Avengers film. They also announced Robert Downey Jr. at the very end there. I don't know if he's on this list, but this must have been before they ended the stream. But yeah, they announced Robert Downey Jr. at the very end, but we already knew that he was going to be in there. But yeah, there was a couple of key characters that I was expecting to be in Doomsday that they didn't announce in this cast. But I was not expecting this amount of OG X-Men. Like, when it comes to the multiverse saga that they've done up until this point, I'll be flat out honest. I was expecting Tobey Maguire. I was expecting Andrew Garfield to pop in here, because once they introduced Kelsey Grammer's name, I kind of keyed in that, okay, the characters we've already seen from the multiverse, they're probably going to come in here. So I thought they were going to bring back everyone we've already seen. We haven't seen Ian McKellen as Magneto in the multiverse yet. We haven't seen James Marsden. We haven't seen Alan Cumming. We haven't seen Rebecca Romijn. Like, Channing Tatum, obviously, we've seen, and I'm really excited that he gets to come back and play Gambit again, a dream role for him. But yeah, I thought, Aaron Austin's saying here, Jackman's Wolverine better be here. I thought for sure that they were going to have Hugh Jackman in here, especially after they announced Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. I was like, you kind of have to have Hugh Jackman at this point, right? So this list is, first of all, let's talk about the presentation just a little bit from Marvel's point. From a business standpoint, they did have us all eagerly waiting at our keyboards and our screens today. We were all waiting to see what the next name was going to be. We were all talking about it. I saw it all over the place. There's millions of other streams happening right now, not just mine. So the fact that you decided to click on this one and join me on this one, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. But yeah, they got us talking. Did it need to be 5.5 hours? After the stream ended, they put out a condensed 1.5-minute video of the same stream on Twitter, where they went through all the chairs again. At the very end, Robert Downey Jr. turned around, gave the shush, and they announced Avengers Doomsday now in production. Was that not enough? Was 1.5 minutes not enough time to get this across? I don't know. But yeah, tons of X-Men in here, tons of multiverse shenanigans, tons of people missing. I suspect this is not the full cast. I don't think that this is everybody who's going to be in Doomsday, but this might be everyone who has a key role in Doomsday, which would be interesting if you're the Fantastic Four, I think, is where their focus is going to be going forward. So the fact that the whole crew of Fantastic Four is in here, I imagine they may be the front runners of the entire movie, with some of our other MCU characters who we know and love, like Shang-Chi and Thor, obviously in there, and Anthony Mackie's Captain America. I think they may be more side characters this time around, and the Fantastic Four may be in the forefront, because what you also get with that is a story of Doctor Doom where maybe it's not till Secret Wars where the people who knew and loved Tony Stark find out that Doctor Doom has the face of Tony Stark. They hold off on that until Secret Wars, and that's where Spider-Man and all these people come in. Again, I suspect this isn't the full cast list. I do suspect that this is just the cast so far as this is saying. But yeah, there you have it. We've got a bunch of returnings. We've got a bunch of suspected and unexpected people popping up in this cast. Did this get me more excited for Doomsday? In some ways it did. I'm a sucker for the nostalgia bait. I'm a sucker for the cameo fest. I know that people say that it's lazy in movies and just to stop it. I can't help it, man. I have fun. My dopamine levels go up a little bit when I see James Marsden's name pop up and Patrick Stewart's name pop up. I'm excited to see the OG X-Men come back. I'm still a little bit nervous of how fast this all kind of came together and the course correction of Kang Dynasty and all that. But yeah, I will say that this got me a little bit more excited for Doomsday, and I hope that they can really pull it off. With that, let's see what some of these people are saying in the chat here. We got Collective Movie Man. Welcome, man. How's it going? He's asking if I've seen any good movies lately. Yeah, I've seen a couple movies I've been watching. I saw Better Man, which I thought was really good. Companion was awesome. Probably my favorite movie of the year thus far. I watched The Godfather for the first time. I finally feel like a true movie fan because I watched The Godfather. So yeah, I don't feel so much like a fraud anymore. Yeah, I've been watching. I caught up on a couple movies from January. I saw Dogman, The Wolfman. I double featured those. Those were kind of fun. Yeah, I've been watching some stuff, man. That's just a couple stuff. Let's see here. Collective Movie Man saying he's very excited about Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen and Kelsey Grammer. I'm most excited for Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen coming back. I just love those two as Professor X and Magneto. I think that James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are also very good, and I enjoy their dynamic. But these guys I've always enjoyed just a little bit more. So if you were asking me who I'd want to see on this list between James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender and Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, they picked the ones that I'm most excited to see from this list. James Emery, what's going on? Thanks for joining. He says this cast is pretty good, and honestly, I don't need the heavy hitters like Strange, Hulk, Wolverine, Scarlet Witch, or any of the Spider-Mans for this film right now. Yeah, that's the interesting thing, right? It's like Mark Ruffalo should be a given in here. He's not here. Benedict Cumberbatch, he should be a given in here. He's not here. Which at the end of Multiverse of Madness, where Charlize Theron comes and takes him, and they go to explore these incursions that are happening. I can see that waiting until Secret Wars. In fact, Benedict Cumberbatch did come out and say that he wasn't a part of Doomsday, and then something happened where he backtracked that. But I guess the first time he said it was correct. He's not a part of Doomsday from the looks of it. But again, I suspect that this list isn't complete. Yeah, and then I'm more convinced than ever that Toby and Andrew are going to be in Secret Wars, if not Doomsday, especially if they're bringing back like Patrick Stewart and all these original X-Men characters. I think we're about to see some more Toby and Andrew. Let's see here. Collective Movie Man is saying, I've gotten some really good 4Ks recently. I got Friends, the complete series. Nice, man. I had that. My wife and I were binging Friends when I did my Blu-ray collection video, and I totally forgot to add that into my Blu-ray collection video. So that was left out of my collection, unfortunately, but that's a must-have. Awesome. I got the Penguin complete series. I got to get that. I got Last of Us, and I also got Face Off. Dude, nice pickups, dude. That's awesome. Film Review Central, what's going on, dude? Says, with all the Thunderbolts apart from Taskmaster announced, does that spoil something going into that movie? I mean, we've all suspected, let's not lie, we've all suspected that Taskmaster was going to bite it in Thunderbolts, and this doesn't necessarily confirm that she does. Maybe they just left her off. Maybe she'll be in a new announcement, or maybe she won't be in this at all, but she's still alive out there. I suspect Taskmaster dies in Thunderbolts just because they did announce Thunderbolts, and the concept was kind of their version of the Suicide Squad, which you do have to have some kind of fatality for one of the characters, for one of the members of the crew in order to make that true. But it's also not necessity. So maybe she lives, maybe she dies. This list does tend to lean a certain way, though, doesn't it? But it's also interesting that you got Lewis Pullman in here, who's going to be Sentry, because I'm not quite sure the role that Sentry is going to play in Thunderbolts. I've suspected Antagonist was going to be the way they go with him. Maybe he turns good by the end. Maybe he joins up with Dr. Doom and Doomsday. I don't know, but it's interesting that they've announced that Sentry is going to be a part of this as well. Let's see. Collective Movie Man's also saying he got the complete series of Rocky on 4K, all 6 movies. That's amazing. And Harry Potter, all 8 movies. Dude, nice pickups, dude. That's awesome. Jay Pylon, what's good, people? What's up, chats? Hello, and welcome back, Zach. It's good to be back. Thank you so much, man, for that warm welcome. I appreciate that. It's not a weekly return. I will make that well established. I'm not necessarily going back to weekly Zach Milne talks Zach Milne Talks Live, the show that we're currently doing. But this is the first step. This is the first step to how does it feel? I had a free hour to kill. Just got off work, so yeah, this is big news. Wanted to talk about it with everybody. Wanted to come back. Wanted to see you guys because I missed you. So this feels amazing. Aaron Austin, movie man. I just got the OG Digimon. Oh man, the OG Digimon movie on Blu-ray. I didn't know that was on Blu-ray. That's a blast from the past. Dakota Man Movies, what's going on, dude? Says still so many people missed from the cast. Young Avengers, Spider-Man, Strange, Wanda, even Wolverine. Yeah, the prominent theory that I saw online was Doomsday was going to focus more on the veteran heroes. Something happens at the end of Doomsday where it takes the veteran heroes out, or at least out of commission. And then in Secret Wars, that's when the Young Avengers were going to assemble, led by Spider-Man, and they were going to come and save the veteran heroes, which I always kind of liked that theory. I always thought that'd be a fun way to go and a cool way to kind of introduce the Young Avengers. But I don't know if this list is complete. It shows that there's no real all the veteran heroes are not going to be in this. Like, there's a lot of veteran heroes that are missing. So maybe some of the veteran heroes go and get the Young Avengers and they get incorporated that way. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, there's definitely some key players here that are undeniably missing. One of which being Spider-Man. Collective Movement says, I'm surprised they didn't have a Halle Berry. Again, this could be an incomplete list because I was also expecting like maybe the OG Jean Grey to pop up in here. I was expecting Hugh Jackman to pop up in here. So there's, like I said, there's gaps. There feels like there are gaps. This is if this is the full cast for an Avengers movie, if these are the names that you are selling this movie on to get people into the seats, it's interesting because I think Chris Hemsworth as Thor is a big one for sure. But then, depending on how the audience gravitates and responds to Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts, there's really no big hitters here. Like, there's no boom Chris Evans, there's no boom Chris Pratt, there's no boom Scarlett Johansson. You know, they got Florence Pugh in here. She's definitely becoming a name. David Harbour's a fan favorite for sure. And the OG X-Men is definitely something that's going to raise eyebrows. But, you know, there's not that person that if you put their name front and center on the poster, I don't feel like there's that leading man like the other Avengers had with, you know, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and all them. So there's something about the list that feels like there's gaps. But it's a really interesting direction to go with the cast if this is indeed the full list. But I'm not convinced that it is. Dark Room Reviews, our buddy Joel. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining. Dakota Man Movie says, did you ever talk about the concept art leaked for this film? If it's real, it's confirmed that there's more to the cast that they showed here. I never did talk about it. I was always iffy about it. Whether you want to believe them or not, whether they're a werewolf like Andrew Garfield, the Russos have come out and said that those leaked concept arts were not them, that they were fake, and that none of that stuff was in the movie. Do I believe them 100%? I don't. Did I like the concept art? Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the Hulk world looked cool. I loved the aesthetic that they had for Doom's kind of like palace and all how that was looking. And I liked the glimpse of like the new Black Panther. I thought was cool. There was a lot in those leaked concept arts that I was really into, but I didn't really get too hyped because, again, I didn't know if it was real or not, and the Russos have come out and apparently debunked them. So we'll see what ends up being real. Aaron Austin says, wait, is Doomsday this year or next? It's next year. It's almost exactly a year away. Well, not almost exactly, but it's next May. So we've got a year and a month. Like, they're literally supposed to be shooting the movie this month. I think April is when they start shooting. Although at the end of this, it said Doomsday now in production. So maybe they're shooting now. But I remember hearing somewhere in like Variety or the Hollywood Reporter that they start shooting in April, which they want to do back to back, you know, Doomsday and Secret Wars. Once again, they're taking on that big endeavor of doing Infinity War Endgame back to back. They're doing the same thing here. I'm a little bit worried about that. Part of me, I give it like a 40% chance that it gets pushed to 2027 just to give them enough time to do everything. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up actually happening with that. Let's see here. Dakota Man Movie says, any characters that you don't want to be in this movie? I really could leave everyone from Secret Invasion behind. I mean, if you're gonna have Samuel L. Jackson in here as Nick Fury, that still works. Like you can definitely still include him. But is Amelia Clark her name? I feel like that sounds weird for some reason, but I'm pretty sure it's Amelia Clark's character from Secret Invasion. I never want to. What's it? Gaia? Was it Gaia? I think it was Gia. I think it was spelled like Gia, Gei, and I think it was pronounced Gaia. I never need to see that character again. I didn't think that she was a bad character as the series went on. I don't like what they did with her in the end. If they do end up bringing Amelia Clark back into the MCU, they've got to find some way to explain that all the powers that she had wore off. Like she had every single superhero in the MCU's powers, and I didn't like that. And I didn't like how she got them. It was they Secret Invasion literally said that they got copies of everyone's blood from the battle at Endgame. And then that's Secret Invasion was a mess, man. It started off with promise. It ended terribly. And that whole thing about them having every sample of blood from every hero that fought in Endgame, and then Amelia Clark getting all of them and getting all of the powers, I hated that. I never need to see Amelia Clark again. Never need to see her again. Code My Movies says also characters you want in this movie, but most likely won't show up. I'm still convinced we're seeing Toby and Andrew again. I'm more convinced than ever that we're going to see Toby and Andrew again. They are part of the multiverse saga. They're characters that we already saw. I feel like we're going to see them in Secret Wars. It'd be cool to see Mahershala Ali's Blade show up in this, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. And I want to see Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt return. But I don't know if they're going to have Harrison Ford in the Avengers films. I wonder, like, with the way that Brave New World ended and how Thunderbolt Ross's character ended up in that movie, I don't know if he would fit where he would fit in the Avengers movie. So, yeah, he's someone I would want to see, but I don't think they're going to have Harrison Ford pop up. Darkroom Review says, not a fan of Ant-Man. Too goofy for my taste. I tell you what, in a lot of people's eyes, and same with Thor, they need redemption from their last movies. I like Quantumania, and I also like Love and Thunder. I know everyone is like turning on that movie and hating that movie. I still like Love and Thunder, but they definitely need to turn the fans' perception on those characters around. So, yeah, I've always enjoyed Ant-Man, but he definitely needs redemption after his last movie. Collective Movie Man. I could probably just take this list down at this point. Just go full screen here. Collective Movie Man says, and also the actress who played Jean Grey. I'm surprised she wasn't announced to be in here. Yep, me too. I was expecting after we saw Patrick Stewart, especially after we saw James Marsden. When James Marsden's name came across the screen, I thought for sure. It's funny how I say across the screen because I was listening to a podcast. I was at work this entire time. So when the people I was listening to, Christian Harloff and Winston over at the Christian Harloff channel, when the name panned across and James Marsden was announced, I thought for sure that Jean Grey was going to be next. And nope, she wasn't. Luke Ponto, my buddy Luke, what's going on, dude? Mr. Mill, my guy, hope you're well, brother. I'm doing great. My son is healthy. My wife is healthy. We're enjoying the little guy. We're navigating life as new parents. It's a very exciting time. And yeah, I appreciate you being here, Luke. I appreciate you asking about my life right now. Film Reviews says, thanks, Darkroom Reviews. Appreciate it, brother. You have to love a Zach Mill live stream, don't you? Oh, that's very kind, man. Thank you so much. Collective Movie Man said, did they announce the actress who played Rogue from the original X-Men movies? No, they did not. Which I wasn't too surprised about, but yeah, no, they didn't announce her, unfortunately. Collective Movie Man says, oh, Zach, I wanted to ask, are you excited for The Last of Us Season 2 and Andor Season 2? I hate myself. I still have to watch Last of Us Season 1. I haven't gotten around to it. I'm so behind on so many shows. My wife and I just finished watching Severance Season 2, which I thought was a little bit of a hit and miss season compared to the first season, but the way it ended, phenomenal. I loved it. We finished watching Paradise. I'm trying to watch Daredevil. I'm trying to watch The Studio that just came out. And I just never found time to go back and watch Last of Us Season 1, so I'm not prepared for Season 2 yet. Andor Season 2, 100%. I loved Andor. The first season I thought was great. I like what I'm seeing from season 2, from the teasers that they've released. I like the tie-ins to Rogue One. It looks like they're going all in with that. Super excited to check it out. And I can't believe I found out like the beginning of this month that Andor comes out next month. I don't know where I was. Probably off having a baby. I wasn't paying attention. I had no idea that Andor was that close. I had no idea it was coming in a month, and it made me very happy to find that out. So I'm looking forward to it. Nathan's Reddit Movies. What's going on, Nathan? Says Zach, the live show is back. I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go from here. Still talking with my wife. It's not back to being weekly just yet, but I had like an hour or so to kill right now. This big news dropped. I'm excited to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it with all you guys. So it was the perfect opportunity, the perfect storm. And it's a Wednesday. So it just kind of felt like fate and destiny that we jump back on here and have a good old-fashioned Zach Milne Talks Live. I think what might end up happening is Zach Milne Talks Live may just end up being like, I don't know, every other week or once a month. Like I have to figure it out, and it may just be like a Q&A live stream at that point. I don't know if I'm gonna have the time to track down news stories, get the graphics the way I want them, have everything set up the way that I want to, pay attention to the news story all week long like I used to do. I feel like a lot of things have changed. Obviously had a baby, so a lot of things have changed since I last did the show. So I'm thinking the path may be to do like some kind of massive just live Q&A live streams every once in a while, which you guys can let me know if you're interested in that or not. And we can still talk about movie news within the live stream because I still listen to podcasts about movie news. I still pay attention to the entertainment world. So I'm still caught up. I haven't been able to dive in with my thoughts as deep as I usually used to do. Film Review Central says, for me, there was noticeable misses from the TV shows Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. The one that surprised me the most was Miss Marvel was missing, because Miss Marvel, first of all, she was the best part of the Marvels, but she's also one of the only Disney Plus characters that transferred over to the movies, except for Wyatt Russell, who also transferred over from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I guess Danny Ramirez also transferred over, but Wyatt Russell's in there, Danny Ramirez is in there, so I was expecting a Miss Marvel to pop up in there, and she never did. When it comes to Moon Knight and She-Hulk, though, I wasn't too surprised to see that they weren't included, at least for now. They could still pop up. Like I said, I'm not convinced that this is the full cast. I also don't think that this is the cast for Secret Wars. I think the Secret Wars cast is going to be massively big and surprising. But when it comes to Moon Knight, I don't think his show hit with audiences very well. I thought Oscar Isaac was one of like the best actors in the MCU. He gave one of the best performances ever in the MCU with Moon Knight. I personally just didn't feel like the show lived up to his performance, and I feel like it kind of got forgotten, unfortunately. And when it came to She-Hulk as well, it definitely had its fans. In fact, my in-laws were just up last week, and my sister-in-law and I were talking, and she mentioned how, like, where's She-Hulk season 2? Like, do you know anything about that, Zach? Like, I love that show. And no, I don't think they're doing She-Hulk season 2. She was bummed to hear that. So definitely has its fans. I wasn't the biggest fan of She-Hulk, and I don't think it did very well within the fandom as well. So I wasn't too surprised to see that she wasn't in there as well. But I am convinced that Tatiana Maslany is going to be back at some point down the road. But yeah, Miss Marvel, I was surprised that she never popped up. Here in Austin, I'm glad I never watched that. Yeah, probably Secret Invasion you're talking about. Collective Movement says, yeah, Emilia Clarke, she played in Game of Thrones. Yeah, okay, so I did get her name right. Dakota Man Movies says, chances that the Eternals show up in one of the Avengers. Yeah, that's kind of like the $1 million question is the Eternals going to pop up again? They didn't quite hit with audiences, but they also didn't get the full chance to see what their box office could do because they came out at a time. Well, it's funny because they came out during the pandemic time, yes, but they also came out like a month before Spider-Man No Way Home came out, and that was able to do like almost $2 billion. So is there really the excuse for Eternals? I think that's right. Maybe my timeline's off, but my memory is Eternals came out very close to Spider-Man No Way Home, so maybe it could have done better. But I think you'll see. What's his name? Kingo, Kamal Nagiani. What? I totally butchered his name there, but what? I think his name was Kingo. It shows how much I like the Eternals characters. I think you could see him pop up again. I think there are select members of the Eternals that'll pop up again. I don't think you'll ever see Harry Styles though. Like I don't think we'll ever see Harry Styles again. I always found that an odd choice that Harry Styles popped up at the end of the Eternals. Um I just don't see him coming back. And is it Gemma Chan that played the lead character? I don't remember. I don't remember the Eternals very well. They didn't captivate me. They weren't my guys. But I think you'll see a couple of them. I think you'll see a couple of them. Dakota Man Movie says, or could Blade show up like Black Panther did in Civil War? I don't think this is where you introduce Blade. I would love to see it. I would love to see Mahershala Ali pop up as Blade in one of these movies. I think it'd be a blast. And I don't think you'll see Kit Harington pop up in here as either. But it's possible. But I like 20%, 15% chance I think that Blade pops up in one of these Avengers films. But I'd love to see it. Nathan Brand Movies, anybody else feel less hype for this than Infinity War? I think the Multiverse Saga felt rushed compared to the Infinity Saga and was lacking a central build-up overall. I mean, 100%. Like, there's nowhere near the hype for this that there was for Infinity War, because when you look at Infinity War, like, they were rolling off of the peak of the MCU, people could argue, was Phase 3, where they set the foundation great with Phase 1. They slowly introduced new heroes and gave us sequels to heroes we already liked in Phase 2. Then in Phase 3, we really got the storyline going, kicking off a Civil War, breaking up the Avengers, introducing new heroes. We knew where it was going. By the time we got to Infinity War, we knew that the entire universe was going to come together. We knew all these characters were going to come together. It was so cohesive, and it was so plainly laid out that everyone knew where it was going, and it was such an exciting time. And Marvel clearly had a path that they wanted to go with the movies to get to that point, and they did it. When it comes to the Multiverse Saga, I feel bad for Marvel because I do think that a lot of variables happened that they could not have prepared for that completely screwed up this entire phase of movies. First off, you had the pandemic where they had to shoot things differently than they planned to. Their whole schedule got messed up, so they had to shuffle things around, and it just wasn't able to. The machine wasn't able to run as smoothly as it did in the past. You had leadership changeover corporately with Bob Chapek coming in there, taking over for Bob Iger, who mandated shows on Disney Plus, told Kevin Feige that he needed a quota to hit on Disney Plus, put management in between him and Kevin Feige that Kevin Feige had to respond to. They stripped all the power away from Kevin Feige to the point that they decided which ended up on movie screens and which ended up on Disney Plus TV screens. So that completely threw everything off. Now Kevin Feige has to create all these different TV shows. He's spread too thin. There's probably some things that he did that weren't originally in the plan because of Bob Chapek. Then Bob Chapek's out, Bob Iger's in. But then you've also got, like, you know, actors strikes and writers strikes happened in between all that too. And so there was so much. Jonathan Majors situation, obviously, with Kang, that threw a big wrench into the whole operation. So when you look at phase 1, 2, and 3, there was definitely moments where they had to adapt. There were times where they had to change up the script and improvise, but nowhere near as much as when they had to announce the Multiverse Saga going into phase 4 and 5. Everything basically got flipped around on its head. And so I do think that Marvel, yeah, the quality went down. There's no denying that. They're not at their best right now. But I'm hopeful for Doomsday because it's coming at a time where Kevin Feige got all his power back. Bob Iger is back in charge. We're kind of out of this whole Bob Chapek leftovers era. We're moving forward with the new regime. Technically the old regime coming back and being the new regime. So I have a lot of hope for Doomsday and a lot of hope for the MCU going forward. But yeah, there's nowhere near the hype for this as there was for Infinity War, because the path to get here was nowhere near as clear or as smooth as getting to Infinity War. Yes, some of that's on Kevin Feige and Marvel, but I also think that a lot of variables and a lot of circumstances they couldn't have prepared for made that happen. So it's just all kind of unfortunate all the way around. And we'll see what happens with Doomsday and Secret Wars and all that moving forward to really evaluate what went wrong with phase 4 and 5 and the whole multiverse saga. But until then, we'll just have to wait and see. Nathan Drana Movies says Severance is the most underrated show out right now. I feel like everybody would love season 1 in particular. And not everybody. You and me, my friend, and my wife, 100% love it. My in-laws, no idea what's going on. We got them to watch Severance. We were talking to them about season 1, and they were just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. So some people, it's not for everybody. But you and me, my friend, oh yeah, I love it. Collective Movie Man says, if you've seen Game of Thrones, there's an episode called the Red Wedding. There could be an episode like that in the Last of Us season. All I'm gonna say is that episode of Game of Thrones is one of the most bloodiest and brutal scenes in Game of Thrones. I've heard the term red wedding mentioned so many times. I've never seen it. I probably will never see it, but yeah, it's very popular. I know that. It's a big moment in pop culture. Nathan Red Movies, have you seen Invincible? Season 3 is my favorite show of the year thus far. Invincible fell completely through the cracks. I fell behind on season 2, then I never watched season 2. Then I heard that season 2 wasn't very good. My brother encouraged me not to watch it, so I haven't touched Invincible since season 1 ended. I might go back to it. There's parts of me, especially after hearing that season 3 was so good, there's part of me that might want to go back and revisit it sometime soon, but as it is for right now, no, I'm not watching it. Collect Movie Man, I'm surprised Charlie Cox wasn't announced. I mean, his show's still airing, and it's a more R-rated type show. It's in the MCU now, but it's also kind of like MCU adjacent. I wouldn't expect to see him pop up in here. Again, it's the whole TV thing too. He's a TV character. I'm not saying that Daredevil should be a TV character, but he's a TV character. He was a cameo in No Way Home. You could make that argument as well. He was on the movie screen in No Way Home. It's possible, but I don't expect to see him pop up in these. Nathan Drive Movies says, thoughts on the Cobra Kai finale? Yeah. So, if you guys have been here long enough, you know that I thought that season 5 should have been the end of Cobra Kai. I didn't think that they should have done season 6. I thought that they overstayed their welcome. And for the first 2 parts of Cobra Kai season 6, I kind of felt like they were stretching because they were recycling old conflicts. They were doing contrived storylines that made old conflicts come back, conflicts that were wrapped up and resolved by the end of season 5. They had to find a way to get that back again. And I found that the first 2 parts of Cobra Kai season 6 were just contrived and kind of overstaying its welcome. But when it comes to part 3 and the way that they ended it, I actually thought they did a really good job ending it. I still feel like season 6 overstayed its welcome. I still feel like season 5 was a very satisfying ending in and of itself. But particularly what they did with Johnny and Kreese's relationship, Daniel and Johnny's relationship, Johnny's whole character in general, what they did with him at the end of season 6, I really liked. I thought the way that they ended Kreese and Silver's story was pretty ridiculous. I laughed out loud how their story ended. I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't watched it, even though it's a little bit old now, but I laughed so hard when their story came to an end. I thought the way they ended it was so stupid and ridiculous, but I also kind of loved it. But yeah, I think season 6 was worth it in the end to get the resolution with Johnny and Kreese and all that kind of stuff. But I still think it overstayed its welcome a little bit. Nathan's Random Movies says, will you watch Death of a Unicorn this weekend? Probably not. I haven't been to the theater since Captain America. I'm curious though. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I had no idea that was coming out this weekend, to be honest with you. I think the next movie I'm going to catch is Thunderbolts, honestly, because my wife's interested in that. I think we're going to find a way to get to that in the theater. But other than that, I haven't been to the theater since Captain America. Collect Movie Man says, Zach, I wanted to tell you something. Go for it, man. What you want to tell me? The next wave of Disney Plus TV shows that are coming out in the holiday time are going to be Miss Marvel season 2, Secret Invasion's coming back. No way. I would check your source. On this, man. There's no way that Secret Invasion is coming back, and Boba Fett's probably not coming back either. The next wave of Disney Plus shows that are coming. Oh, you know what? You mean on Blu-ray? You mean on Blu-ray, don't you? You mean they're coming out on physical media? Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion, Boba Fett. There's one more Star Wars TV show, but they haven't announced that yet. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying they're coming out on Blu-ray. Those Blu-rays, man, they're like $50 a pop. I'm a completionist for the MCU. But I can't spend $50 on Secret Invasion. I can't do it. I can't do that. Don't make me do that. Oh man. Nathan John Movies says I rewatched Andor recently and forgot how good it was. Yeah, man, it's great. And one of the saddest lines in all of Star Wars is I can't swim. If you guys have watched Andor specifically, I think like the last 3 episodes, something like that, then you'll get that. But oh man, I can't swim. That's a devastating line in all of Star Wars. Dakota Man Movies, thoughts on Phase 5 as a whole? I think Phase 4 was better. Not only does Phase 4 have more bad projects, Phase 5 have more bad projects in the MCU, but has less of a connected story. Phase 4, you had Wanda connecting to, is there more here? Yep, connecting to Doctor Strange and Black Widow to Hawkeye, while Phase 5 didn't connect to anything besides Ant-Man and Loki Season 2 with Captain America Brave New World and Daredevil Born Again. It feels more connected with references. I think overall I probably enjoyed Phase 4 more than I enjoyed Phase 5. But again, it's like I was saying, I feel bad for them because I do feel like their roadmap got completely screwed up and messed up, and for that a lot of the projects got messed up. I don't think either phase is great. Because I mean, you've got the thing is that with both Phase 4 and Phase 5, you've got a lot of duds in there, but you also have like some really great ones. Like Phase 5 has Deadpool and Wolverine. Phase 4 has Spider-Man No Way Home. Like those are those are high bar MCU movies for me and MCU experiences. But yeah, I do think like Wakanda Forever I loved more than anything in Phase 5 as opposed to Deadpool and Wolverine. Spider-Man No Way Home, of course, was great. I loved that one. I really enjoyed Shang-Chi. I'm probably gonna go Phase 4 was better than, and Phase 4 was Phase 4 also Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, or was that Phase 5? Because Phase 4 ended after Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do think I enjoyed Phase 4 more. Collect Movie Man says, "Oh, Zach, how do you feel about Kathleen Kennedy leaving Star Wars, and who would you want to replace her as the head of Lucasfilms?" Well, I mean, that whole story came out. It's like, hey, she's leaving at the end of the year. We all went, yeah. And then she came out and said, hey, I'm not leaving yet. And we, oh, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel bad. I don't want to pile too badly on Kathleen Kennedy. Have I enjoyed all of the choices she's made? No. Have I enjoyed the creative direction she's taken Star Wars all the time? Not really. Is there some things that she's given that I've really enjoyed? Absolutely. Is there, who do I want to take over Lucasfilm? A complete unknown. Someone who I've never heard of before who can do the job really, really well. I don't want to hear a Dave Filoni or a Jon Favreau. Like, I don't want to hear the big buzzword, the big buzz names. You know, I don't want to hear like, oh, they did this really great one Star Wars project. Now they're gonna run everything. Like, I don't want to hear that at all. Give me someone who it's like, here he is, Dave Filoni, and I'm like, who the heck is Dave Filoni? He's been with the company for like 15 years, and we think he's ready to now take this step into leading Star Wars. Okay, Dave Filoni, have fun, Dave Filoni. I'm rooting for you, Dave Filoni. I've never heard of you before, Dave Filoni. That's the way I want them to go. Someone I have no idea who they are. And I wish Kathleen Kennedy well whenever she does decide to leave. Nathan's Red Movie says the Quantumania credit scene is officially the most useless Marvel credit scene. Oh, let's see what happens. I mean, do I think that Jonathan Majors is going to make a grand return to the MCU? Probably not. But you know, we'll see. Look at Tim Blake Nelson, huh? Back in 2008. Remember when we were all saying, well, that went nowhere. You know, cut 16 years later, whatever it is, 2025, we got a conclusion. May not have loved it, but we got a conclusion. So, you know what? Give it 20 years. We'll see a Jonathan Majors return, and they'll wrap everything up all the way from Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Nathan Ryan Movies says season 2 of Invincible is the weakest, but still very good. Yeah, I just haven't heard great things about it. The Lawrence Report says, I believe we will see more characters also, not just the ones that came out today. I 100% agree with you. I don't think this is the full cast list. It just seems like there's some really surprising characters in there, but like I said, there's no real anchor to it. Like, unless the Fantastic Four comes out and they're fantastic, no pun intended, and everyone loves them and the audience gravitates towards them, then I could see them being the band of characters that maybe we go through the entire journey with. But I mean, like Thor, maybe, but he's kind of lost his pizzazz a little bit with Love and Thunder. You can't make Ant-Man the lead. Like, his movies are like the least performing. You can't do that with Ant-Man. So there's got to be someone in there, some big hitters still to come, unless they do focus on Robert Downey Jr. Doomsday. Maybe Doctor Doom himself is the lead character of Doomsday, like Thanos was Infinity War. Maybe they focus more on the Doom character than even they focused on Thanos, and then that way, when you have all these other characters running around, that can be your anchor, is Robert Downey Jr.'s presence on screen as Doctor Doom, because he would carry it 100%. He would be able to do it. So maybe that's the way they go. All right, guys, I got about 20 more minutes left in here, and then I got a bounce, unfortunately. James Emery says, I just wanted Spider-Man 4 to have a Daredevil and Spider-Man versus Kingpin narrative with Punisher as a side character as well. We'll see what they end up doing, because the whole rumor was that Sony wanted to have a multiverse thing again, and Marvel wanted to have street grounded level, and it sounds like they've thought of something. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. And we know that Kingpin and Punisher and Daredevil, they're back in the MCU. They're there now, so we'll see what they do. Nathan Red Movie says, will you watch Minecraft? I will with my friends in a couple weeks. I can tell you this right now. I haven't been to the movies since Captain America. There's no way I'm returning to the movies for Minecraft. Unless I hear best movie of the year so far, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Then it might get my curiosity. I might go check it out. But I'm not leaving to go do that. Collect Movie Man says, oh, Zach, what did you think of Daredevil Born Again so far? I'm enjoying it, but feels more like Law and Order than an actual Daredevil. That's what I love about it. I haven't watched episode 5 and 6 yet. I fell behind. Well, it came out yesterday, but yeah, I've fallen behind a little bit, but I'm really loving it. I'm really enjoying what they're doing with Daredevil Born Again. And episode 4, I thought, was like kicking things into real high gear, like seeing what Kingpin's got going on behind the scenes with Adam and all that. Seeing Frank come back was incredible. The scene between him and Matt Murdock, I think, was probably their best scene of all of Daredevil, both the Netflix and this show. Yeah, there hasn't been as much action, and there hasn't been too much in the soup, but there's also still been so much more going on for the characters and for the growth of them, and I'm just engrossed in it. I love it. So yeah, the fact that we haven't had an action scene since like the end of episode 2 doesn't bother me. And I don't know about 5 and 6. I'm very curious to see what happened in those. The Ace Avenue, what's going on, man? Beloved channel member and friend Ace over there. By the way, guys, he just did a fantastic stream with our buddy T from Have You Seen That with T over on his channel. So you guys can go back, rewatch his live stream breaking down this casting news. I'm having a conversation about it. It was fantastic. Definitely highly recommend. Internet Movie says, I love the Andor music. Yeah, they did a really good job in that show. Michael 11591. Did I skip over you? I thought I saw you. Yeah, I think I did skip over you. I'm sorry, Michael. You said, woo, Zach is back. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the warm welcome. You said, Zach, me, Luke, and the guys still talk about that awesome classic clip of you sipping ketchup. Yeah, I went a little wild that night. If you haven't checked out Luke Ponto's stream, you don't know what that means, but let's just say it was fun. Michael 11591 also says, did you see Snow White? No, I didn't see Snow White. I didn't hear great things about it, and like I kind of said about Minecraft, I'm not going to go back to the theaters for Snow White. Nathan Red Movie says, what is the saddest movie you have seen? Gosh, in my whole life, what's the saddest movie I've ever seen? I gotta watch some sadder ones. I've never seen Sophie's Choice. I've never seen Schindler's List. I've never seen Green Mile. Like, there's a lot of sad movies I'm missing out on that I really gotta get on. I thought that like Macaulay Culkin's death in My Girl was devastating. I mean, I don't know how people feel about that, because I haven't watched that since I was like a pretty little kid. But that's the first movie where I remember just shattering my heart. Like, that was devastating for me. So that's the one that pops into my head. Ace is saying Guardians of the Galaxy was phase 5. Okay. I don't love that one as much as a lot of people do. Andor season 2, only Star Wars project I care about. Not gonna lie, me too, man. Me too. They ruined Obi-Wan, and that's the other thing I only cared about. Ace is saying, could the Russos make a good Star Wars movie? I'm gonna say yes, they could, because yes, their track record outside of the MCU hasn't been the best. Now, granted, I'm saying that from people who have said that to me, and looking at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, I haven't seen a majority of their stuff. I haven't seen Gray Man, I haven't seen Cherry, I haven't seen the new Electric State. I started it and then I got busy doing something else, so I stopped watching it. So there's a lot of Russo brothers that I've missed, but they've made great MCU films in the past. So there's the proof in the pudding right there. They can make some great stuff. So I think they could make a good Star Wars film if they had the right script and the right cast and everything came together. Let's see here. That's the awesome sipping ketchup clip. Nathan Movie says Rise of Skywalker Death Star knife fight might be the dumbest scene in Star Wars. Rise of Skywalker Death Star knife. Oh, that device that they used to find. Oh yeah, that was stupid. Might be the dumbest scene in Star Wars, but Vespa, Scooter, and Boba Fett and Leia chasing Kenobi are close. I still go with the Rise of Skywalker. Stupid device that led them to like 20-year-old garbage or 30-year-old garbage of the Death Star. None of that made sense to me. I thought it was so stupid. The Ace Avenue says, who is a character that you really want to see and a character that you don't want to see in Doomsday that wasn't named? I kind of already talked about this. The one that I don't want to see is Emilia Clarke's character from Secret Invasion, Gaia, whatever her name is. Keep her out. And I believe the one that I said I wanted to see was Mahershala Ali's Blade, which I think would be fun. But if I'm throwing out another one out there, I think it'd be kind of fun to see some of the the original Mr. Fantastic from the Tim Story, or even like Michael Chiklis is The Thing. If he popped up in there, I think that'd be fun. But yeah, there's no way that's gonna happen. Absolutely no way. Nation Movie says Electric State had no reason to be $320 million. Yeah, that's just stupid. I don't know who greenlit that and why. Did you guys hear the story? This might make a little bit more sense. Did you guys hear the story about the director that went to Netflix and told them that he was going to make them a sci-fi series, and they gave him like millions and millions of dollars to go make this series? And he kept coming back to them asking for more money. And it turned out this guy wasn't making a series at all. He was spending all of his money on luxuries for his lifestyle. And now he's like indicted and he's about to go to prison, or he could go to prison for up to like, a number of years he could go to prison for. But it's like, how does that how does Netflix just give this guy millions and millions of dollars and then he's never even making a show? Look it up in, I think it was in Variety. It's a crazy story. But when you read that story about this director who just kind of scammed Netflix and got them to give him millions of dollars, when you hear something like this, they gave $320 million to make the Electric State. Yeah, it makes a little bit more sense how a studio was able to do that. The Ace Avenue says that Daredevil episode 6 fight finale was crazy. I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to wait. Collective Movement says, you have a good night, Zach. You too, Collective Movement. Thank you so much for being here, man. You were the first one in the stream, the first stream back after having a kid. So thank you so much, man, for being here. The show was made better because you were a part of it, my friend, and I appreciate you as always. You have a good night. Marvin Juan Joel, what's going on, Marvin? Thanks for joining us. Will Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse ever happen? Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine, dude. I'm starting to believe that they didn't have a part 2 figured out. Like, how do you have Across the Spider-Verse labeled as part 1 originally and then redacted to just Across the Spider-Verse, and then Beyond the Spider-Verse part 2 is supposed to come out a year later. We're like 2 years removed almost from Across the Spider-Verse, and they've given us nothing. No cast, no synopsis, no nothing. So I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what's going on with Beyond the Spider-Verse. But if they're just taking their time to get it right and do it well, then all is forgiven, all is fine. Because I want them to do it well, and I want them to have a great end to the trilogy. This could be one of the greatest one of the greatest movie trilogies in general of all time if they nail this ending. So I'm hoping for it. By the way, guys, next week on Tuesday, I did I did a what's it called? A tier list ranking of all the Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent films. That's dropping on Tuesday. So that's going to have, from Sam Raimi to Mark Reb to the MCU to the Beyond the or not Beyond to the Spider-Verse films to Venom to all of them. I put them on a tier list. It was a very fun video to shoot. I shot it like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. Comes out on Tuesday. So definitely check that out when that drops. Dude, the Ace Avenue sending in a $5 super chat, man. Thank you so much for the support as always. Welcome back, Zach. YouTube was made better because you are part of it. See what I did there? I love what you did there, my friend. Thank you so much. That's very touching that you would send in that support, my friend. And you've always been so supportive, and I can't wait to get back on stream with you. The Ace Avenue says, will the Thunderbolts bring you back to the theater? Yes, I'm thinking that's probably the first one I'm probably going to go back for. That or Lilo and Stitch. I don't know which one comes out first. I got about 10 minutes here, guys, before I'm gonna bounce. But yeah, something like that. Definitely May. There's gonna be a movie in May that's definitely going to bring me back. And once again, thank you so much for that super chat, my friend. Michael 1151 says, will you see Death of a Unicorn? Again, it's pretty unlikely that I'll make it out for that, even though I really want to see that, and I hear that some pretty good things about it because some people saw it at some film festival like last week or so. So I'm really looking forward to it, but I don't know. We'll see. Marvin Wanjo says, do you think Marvel should cut down on Disney Plus shows? 100%. 100%. I think they should. And I think they are. And that's the thing, too, is Bob Chapek, now that he's out, now that the mandate's out, now that the quota's gone, Bob Iger's back, they've talked about how they're slowing down productions on a lot of stuff. I think they said they want to do just like 2 shows a year, which I think is perfect. 2 shows a year is perfect. I would love them to stick with that, and then make them really good shows, and also make them so that don't make them reliant on to watch the movies. I think that's the big mistake that they make with some of these shows, especially when you look at like the Marvels, where they had, and we'll see what happens with Thunderbolts with Wyatt Russell, but with the Marvels, they had 2 characters that were introduced on shows, WandaVision and Miss Marvel, obviously, and they brought them into the movies, and I don't think it worked. Like people like me who watched both the shows got it 100%. I saw that with some people. My wife, for example, she was very confused about it. So don't make the shows reliant on needing to see the movies. And the worst example of that is, of course, Multiverse of Madness, where Wanda's whole gone bad character arc in Multiverse of Madness only works if you watched WandaVision. So they need to get away from that, and I think that they are. Michael Entity, what's going on, buddy? Beloved channel member and friend. Hey, Zach, I'm really excited to join the Last Members Talk live show with you this Saturday. It's been quite a journey, my friend. That it has. Nearly 2 years, I think we've been doing Members Talk live. So, yeah, that last show is, I don't know if I should say last show for a while or a little bit. At the moment, I think it is just the last show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm still thinking of what we're going to do for that show. We're probably definitely going to talk about this casting announcement at some point, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to seeing you there. Frankie Mega World, what's going on, Frankie? Thanks for joining. Says, are you sad Eternals might never return? Not really. They never captivated me. They were never my peeps. Frankie Mega World says, what are your 10 favorite movies of last year? Oh my goodness, I don't remember, man. Last year, what did I even see last year? Obviously Doom Part 2 is up there. Kingdom of Planet of the Apes is definitely up there. Abigail, I loved Abigail. I'm terrible with what I saw what came out in 2024. Shoot, man. Yeah, there's definitely some good ones in there. Those are the 4 that pop into my mind at the moment, but I don't remember them very much. I apologize. Michael Entity, what are some recent movies that you loved, but for some reason you didn't review? Well, the reason I didn't review them is because I have a kid, and there's also a part of me that's just kind of, I guess, like behind the scenes of what I'm thinking at the moment. I'm trying to focus a little bit more on a library that's more rewatchable than the shelf life of a new hot thing. And what I mean by that is, I feel like everybody does movie reviews for the latest movie, and I feel like once the movie is kind of like out of sight, out of mind, no one goes back to rewatch those movie reviews, at least not very often. And I've been trying to think of like, what are things that I like to watch? What are things that I'll rewatch even like years down the line? Because the interest is always kind of there. And I think that ranking videos are something that I'm kind of gravitating towards. I'm having a lot of fun making those, and I'm inspired by a lot of different people on YouTube who I watch, who I like. I like watching ranking videos. I like watching list videos. So that's something I'm kind of playing more with, as opposed to just kind of like um just getting out the new hot thing like everybody else is doing. Because you look on your feed, I'm still getting like 50 videos for a Snow White review a day. Like everyone's talking about it, and I feel like their videos are just come and go, and I'm trying to think of videos that if someone came to the channel 2 or 3 years from now or 10 years from now and they went through my library, there'd be a video that would still be kind of relevant that they would click on and would rewatch. So that's kind of where my mindset's at the moment, especially with having a kid. I've been trying to think of more things I can do just at home without needing to go to the theater, without needing to worry about keeping up with all the hot new things every week. So as opposed to recent movies that I loved that I haven't reviewed, I loved Companion. I loved Better Man. Um, I really, what have I been watching lately? I have a letterbox of what I've been watching lately, but um, yeah, I don't know. Those two stick out in my mind for sure. Is Companion I loved, and I loved Better Man. I don't think there's anything else that I've watched from this year though that I've loved. There's been a couple that I've liked, but overall, from what I've been able to catch up on, I haven't loved them. The Ace Avenue says, "Have a good night, Zach and chat. Love the shirt, by the way." Oh, thank you, buddy. My wife made me this. She went and had this custom, or maybe it wasn't custom made. Maybe it was ordered off Amazon. I don't remember, but yeah, my wife's responsible for that. I love this shirt, so thanks for pointing that out, man. The Ace Avenue says everyone should give their favorite Zach members moments and topics for the final show. Hey, I mean, that's a great idea. I'll take them. All right, guys, I got to bounce in about 2 minutes here, so we're just going to take these last few questions. I wasn't sure if I was going to get through all of them, so this is awesome. Michael Anthony says, have you ever had a chance to watch The Last of Us yet? Season 2 is coming in a couple weeks. It's going to be great. Unfortunately, I have not, but it's on my to-do list. It's been for a while. The Ace Avenue says, I'd love to see your Disney live action ranking. I've thought about it. There's a couple that I definitely have gaps in that, so that's one that's on the board, and I'm definitely thinking of working through that once Snow White hits Disney Plus. Frankie Mega World says 10 challengers, 9 Inside Out. Oh, this is your 2024 top 10 challengers. I love challengers. Inside Out 2 is definitely up there for me. That's in my top 5. I should have mentioned that. Transformers 1, Dune Part 2, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Beetlejuice. Wasn't a fan of that one. Furiosa has grown on me. Deadpool and Wolverine is definitely in my top 5 as well. And Sonic 3 is number 1. That's awesome, man. Yeah, there's definitely a number of those that would not come into my mind, but Deadpool and Wolverine is definitely up there for sure. Nathan Movie says, have a good rest of your day, Zach. You too, Nathan. Thank you so much for being here. The show is made better, as well as to you, Ace, because you guys are a part of it, and I appreciate you guys. You have a good one. And Dakota Man Movie says, ever getting that Smile movie reaction? I'm calling me out for it. I put up the unedited full reaction on my members page, which I announced to the members. I guess announcement here, I'm ending the memberships. I just I don't have time for them right now, so I'm ending the membership program. So I think once, if I understand correctly, I think once the membership program ends, like once I cancel the members, all the member videos just go public. I believe that's how it works. So I put the whole unreleased footage of my Smile reaction on the members page, so that might just become public by next month. But I want to finish it. I promise you, I want to finish it. It's just a matter of finding time and also finding the energy, because reactions take a while for me to edit. I have to find a better way of doing them. Frankie Mega World said, why was you not a fan of Beetlejuice? It's interesting. For me, it just didn't have the same kind of lighthearted humor that I found the first one did. I didn't think it was as fun. I thought the story was kind of a mess with the whole wife chasing Beetlejuice. Didn't really go anywhere. Yeah, there was some decisions I didn't really like and some story beats I didn't really like. So it just wasn't for me. I have a review on the channel where I talk more about that, where I have fresh thoughts on that. I don't really remember. I haven't seen Beetlejuice since the theaters last year, so it's been a little bit. But yeah, just wasn't a big fan. Anyway, guys, that'll do it for this episode of Zach Milne Talks Live. I don't know when we'll have the next episode. I don't know when we'll be back, but this has been a treat. This has been great, and we'll definitely be doing it again. So I will see you guys then at some point. Same Zach time. Same exact channel.